Sinuous.
Back off the street, back off the street.
Sinuous.
Fire. Back off the street.
Yeah. This album consists of a bunch of tracks that didn't make it to official releases, and still dope enough to wanna put it on repeat quick. So peep this, throw us in your CD player. Oh, I forgot they non-existent, dog. Shit has changed major. So scratch that, throw it in your iPod player. Like, my God, he right hard, a ball on you fake. Sure they throw back, so give it away for free. Like, oh boy, go and make noise when you hear. Hope you jump for joy. I'm optimistic, glass ain't half empty, it's half full. Hopefully by now you know me from the Jazz Council, that was years ago. So I brought more fire to douse dudes and playing by house rules. I'm laid back like a couch dude. I'm that dude to make his own beats, writes his own rhymes, records his own shit. Probably why it takes so much time to put out an album. Man, I'm always behind schedule. Ain't that I ain't hungry, I just always got my plate full. Try to digest all the topics that I'm spitting. You need to sit back and actually take the time to listen. We living in a new age where mind states are feeble. Kids' attention spans are shorter than Danny DeVito. My beat stole, be banging, be about my business. Bass stays knocking like a Jehovah Witness. Leave them scattering when chattering. The gang of rhyme patterns. I ain't worth challenging. You all need some aspirin. Aspiring to be me, no empires to feed. Just a chosen few that's flowing through. Firing up the weed. Jesus, crazy what the world coming to. I'm here to live it, make music. But y'all is just hanging on a gimmick, huh? Wait a minute, man. Don't get me confused with none of these newbie-ass rappers, man. I know the game be feeling fucked up, but I've been making beats since 95, regardless if I had the right promotion or not. Word up. Hey, yo, I ain't always humble. I ain't always intense. I've had my good and bad days like anyone else, more or less. Probably a lot more than less, or the more of it in a sense. Feel blessed, so I just move forward through the stress. But don't smoke stress. Smoke the bombest weed you ever seen. Cannabis club category, certified Cali Green. Type of bomb that I keep up in my sack. They give a lot of cats anxiety attacks. There's no denying the facts. But enough about the weed, though. I keep it on a need-to-know basis. It's time for me to cut to the chase quick. So download this free LP. Spread it to your friends and family. Even to the little haters mad at me. I got 2 official LPs coming after these. So far I'm grateful for the love that's coming back to me. Truly appreciate the support, especially my peeps that had my back when I was going in and out of court. But of course a shout out to all my people who kept the game alive instead of killing it, selling out with weak flows. My crew, anyone that gave an honest point of view. Much respect besides me, man. I do this shit for you, yeah, for you.
What is going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. What is going on? I think this is working. Things I think are going on. Got some people in the chat. Collecting myself. It's been a busy week. It's been a busy morning. And it's hopefully going to be a busy hour. Fingers crossed. So cheers to everyone. Who have we all got here? We've got Vlad, Claudio, Nitin, Oleg, Alessia, Matthias, David, lots of people in the chat today. Clark, Milan, Adam, what is going on, guys? David and Paolo, hello to you as well. So, here's what I'm thinking today. Here's the idea. We've been kind of playing around with some painting workflows. The idea is to be able to do things super quickly. I think when you're learning things, going slowly and trying to get things figured out is a good way to work. And I'm definitely still learning this workflow, but I think trying to see how quickly I can do it with the pressure of doing it live as well is a good stress test to see what things are clicking and what things aren't. So what I'm going to try to do today is to go from nothing to something in an hour. And as opposed to just be like, this is a good start and we can keep going. I don't think this is going to be something that I'm going to post, at least not in the state that it's at the end of the hour, but I'm hoping that we'll be looking at something that I like. So, I got Max open, blank scene. I've got Photoshop open, blank scene. Let's get started, shall we? Nitin, to answer your question, no, we can definitely not trust Windows. Okay, so we're starting about 5 minutes into it, so we have till an hour 05 to get something done. I have like a rough idea of something in my head, and we're gonna see if we can get it figured out. Okay. So as opposed to doing like lots of little thumbnails, I have one idea in my head, and I'm just gonna see if I can't get it kind of onto paper in like a very quick amount of time. Excuse me. I have this idea. This is like this is more of the sketching that I tend to do for myself, as opposed to like actually trying to make something that would be easily understandable. That's a person. But that's all that I think we need from this. And I think that what I want is for this. I think the horizon needs to be lower. All I want to do in this little process is get to a point where in my head it makes sense what I'm doing. I'd like for my skills in this department to keep getting better as far as sketching goes. But as I've said for like a really long time, the really important part about sketching, or the real value for sketching, in my opinion, isn't necessarily a means to an end in and of itself, as much as it's a super valuable tool for you to communicate with yourself. So we're just going to try not to make anything pretty. I don't want to go that bright. I'm not trying to make anything pretty here, but I am trying to get like an idea of what the depth and composition in this scene will be, which I don't have a great idea of yet. I want that building to feel taller. Okay, we'll keep going on this. And so basically what I'm just drawing here is more or less a depth mask, to be honest, of kind of what I'm thinking. And this I've always found to be like a really easy way, to quickly communicate with yourself, not just compositionally, but also, what's a good way to say this? Not just compositionally, but also to give yourself a really good idea of what you want to get done or what you're trying to achieve in 3D space, right? So that the jump from 2D to 3D is as kind of quick as possible. And I'm going to try and get something done here quickly. Let's see. And what the kind of like thought that I'm having in my head is that I want this all to feel like way smaller. I'm not sure if that's a horizon issue or if that is a relative scale issue. And so little things like, I think the horizon probably still needs to come down a little bit, but like you figure out a lot of things really quickly. Like I like this kind of like little silhouette that I have being totally surrounded by the water behind it, as opposed to going across the far bank. And so little things like that, I find like I notice them more quickly usually here in 3D. I notice them more quickly in 3D, or in 2D, excuse me, than I do in 3D, I think, when you have like all the other things to think about. And I think that it kind of speeds things up pretty greatly. That thought I had a thought at the beginning of that sentence, and clearly I lost it by the end of it. Such is the life of things. I'm picturing the light kind of coming in this way, but I'm not going to try to paint any light, and I'm going to play with that. As you can see, we're going to have to model some mountains here. And so little, and like really the mountains matter most in their silhouette than like their actual form. And so as opposed to trying to move geometry around, we can like just with a couple brush strokes figure out what kind of shape we want for it. And then life gets easier. The perspective on this isn't looking right. But that's what the low power warning. Okay. But that's okay. That's something that we can figure out in 3D really quickly, and I'm not that great at sketching. Okay. We're going to move into 3D with this. Super duper rough. I'm just going to leave it on this screen. I'm going to move that out of the way, bring the mouse out, and let's switch screens. Let's do one thing before we switch screens, just to check. Yeah, I think this needs to move over a little bit. But I like the overall, I like that we have, 3 sizes of things. It's a relatively simple task as far as modeling goes. So let's get into 3ds Max. Doop. Okay, 3ds Max time. Let's see, let's set up. I've literally prepared nothing for this. But that's okay. So let's go with the aspect ratio. I'm thinking portrait. I was thinking portrait when I started. I'm going to stick with that unless I have a reason not to. And we are going to, we're going to need a person. We're going to need a tree. A tree, I recently used a tree that I think I like a lot, and I'm just going to use that. For a person, we'll just grab the character and, we're gonna maybe pose a person, but super quickly. Rough is the goal here. I gotta keep saying that to myself. Where did I do that? Where's that file? There we go. Oh wait. She's already posed and she's holding a rail, so we can't use the last version I posed her. For some reason, there's some weird scale thing happening with her, which we're gonna see in a moment. But let's go. People, Survivor Woman. Did I not save a file of that? See, this is where all your time goes, just looking for files. My hat, oh, there's a file right here named character. We'll get that opening up. My hat's off to anybody who actually manages to keep their libraries somewhat cleaned up. I think the one that I want, which one was it? This one might be it. And let's not grab the proxy because we don't need to worry about that. Let's see if that's the right one. That's the right one. I like this tree. This one's from Max Tree. Okay, so we have a tree. And while we're waiting for the our person to load up, we are going to use the tree as our kind of reference. So we're actually kind of on the right level of this. And then we know we want the horizon somewhere somewhere in this little world here. Looking at the image, I always kind of try to take a guess at what I think the perspective or the camera is of the image, and it feels like a relatively, not super long lens, but it does feel like a 50mm lens or something like that. I don't know why F-Storm defaults to field of view. I like working with millimeters more often than not. So I think we want something like this. I'm just gonna kind of try and place everything into this to where I want it to be. That tree might move, but it's good for now. Let's see where our character is. Oh, okay. Oh, God. 3ds Max just effing hates when I switch between 2 different resolution monitors. Here's what 3ds Max looks like right now. And if that looks completely messed up to you, yeah, it looks completely messed up to me as well. And yeah, I've not taken any time to try and fix that, so we're just gonna work on this little screen because time is a ticking, and we're gonna see if we can't. Oh God. Maybe we can just merge her into the entire scene because she's not posed yet. Let's see what happens when we bring her back into this. Da da da. I'm flattered by that comparison. Nicholas, thank you for that. I'm not sure if I can fully agree with it, but I'll take it. Okay. I never use characters right. And what I'm supposed to do is grab the root, right? Boop. Like this one. Alright. I find usually when I do this, I end up in some situation where, I go and I whoa. Oh, nope, can't rotate it. Okay, see, this is how little I know about, whoa, let's see if we can fix that. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna not worry about the head. I'm going down and dirty as possible for this. We're gonna try and paint over this. And we're already burning 3D time. So all we're gonna do is switch to bones. We're gonna try and roughly get her into kind of a like, I'm looking type position. Can we move an arm up? Nope, we got something in here we gotta twist. Yeah, you guys wanna see something I'm not good at. We're looking at it, baby. And I think we whoa, no. Give me the hips. Give me the hips. That one. We're gonna see if we can't get her like a little bit of a pose. No. Well, we got a person at least. Let's convert her to an editable mesh. This is down and dirty, right, folks? Yes, it is. I don't have time to fix all of this shit today. Convert to editable poly. Fantastic. And now let's delete all of the bones. Bones. And let's put her head back on her. Do not know what happened there. I'm gonna guess it has some kind of issue with a scale discrepancy or a units discrepancy or something of that sort. But whole point is to work dirty. Look, her head's back on her shoulders, kinda. I'm not gonna worry about the collar because we're gonna look at the back of her anyways. She's gonna be looking out. Okay. Group that and let's move her into place. I feel like I'm already burning time. How many minutes in are we? We are 15 minutes in, and we have 2 things in 3D. That's okay. And I think I want her kind of like somewhere here, and we know we want her definitely down, right? Because the other bank is going to be somewhere over here. And we're going to need to get I think we need to bring these closer to the camera. We're going to need to get some kind of rock in there next to her for her to stand on. We'll deal with body language maybe in post if we have time. Oh God. The character stuff is like one of those things that's been on my list. I don't have any answers. There are probably a lot of people that know a lot more than me about it, or there definitely are. I know nothing when it comes to that stuff. Okay. So we're just going to leave it where it is. We're going to put a box in. Convert it to editable poly. Do something like that, something like that, something like that. We're getting there. Have kind of a picture in my head what I'm hoping to get out of 3D, and we'll see if I actually get to this point or not. What I'm hoping to get out of 3D is like a decent idea of the perspective we're working in, a suggestion of what these rocks are going to look like, and I would like to quickly kind of set a mood with skies. So I think that I have until about the 30-minute mark or so, which gives us like another 15 minutes to do 3D, and then we'll render it pretty rough and noisy and low res, and that should be okay. Okay, so we definitely want this to be a lot higher. Oh, I can't see my things. Why aren't you moving? Locked? Oh, there we go. I think we want her kind of by the water. Something like that. And then we gotta put some mountains in. And we're gonna do the mountains with a plane. And this is how mountains come to be. Where are you? Wire. Oh yeah. Okay, where's my sketch? Okie dokie. So you guys can't see it. I still have the sketch open in Photoshop, so that I can kind of see where things are happening. And I'm really not paying any attention, I guess you could say, or you can say, I will say, to anything except for where things are ending up over in this window. I want that kind of pointing to her, but then I want that to go out this way. Something like that. And then I think I want this to get taller. Oh yeah. Guys, is that a beautiful mountain or frickin' what? Pretty excited about it. How close do I want this thing to get? That could be a painting exercise. Okay. Now let's grab this. We're gonna displace this in my usual cheap way of making fake Rocky Mountains. Oopsies. That's a bit much, Mikey. Oh wow. And so we know that we're gonna want at least not like a, over 180 degree angle, but I want to keep this kind of roughly same silhouette in here. Something like that. And then we'll go ahead and take this and mirror it around. Something Okay, let's do a little bit of editing on this guy. Milan, I should absolutely do that. I should absolutely do that. Let's try to keep this somewhat true to our sketch. And we're just going to break up some of these silhouettes just a little bit with some geometry so that the displacement map doesn't need to do all of the work. And let's give us a couple edges to push and pull here. And let's see where this one is in the left window. Dun, dun, dun. That one down. Okay, we need more in here. Let's make something interesting, maybe. Just some little bumpies. Little bumps. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, that's fine. Okay, how are we doing on time? How are we doing on time? 26 or 20 minutes in. Oh, we still got 10 minutes. Fantastic. So let's do a couple of things. Oops. Okay, so we're gonna need some kind of water. We're gonna do it quick and dirty. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. We're gonna want some reflections. We're gonna want some kind of noise in there. We're probably just gonna take whatever's shows up by default. And that's probably set it like a meter, so we're going to change that down to like a centimeter. A little bit more. And then we are going to need a rock material for all of this. And let's see what we can find. Recently downloaded. Which one did I like? Let's go. What Megascans? The names of these things are ridiculous. UCDMC AWDY preview. Come on now. Come on. Okay, let's see. Where is this one? Here we go. We are gonna need albedo. We are gonna. Oh, whatever. We'll do it with roughness. Down and dirty. Let's get the good DXR. Why? Let's really treat ourselves to a super high res displacement map since we're gonna push it super hard. And normal map. Okay, let's turn that off. And we can probably treat these two as the same, but we are going to need. Let's invert that because I don't like the way that the roughness option does things. Okay, and then this needs to turn into a normal map. And we will look at the normal map. Okay. Let's group these together. Editable poly, attach them. Run my little unwrapping script. Come on, baby. And now we just make it super big. Give me lots of tiling. At what point? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, we got to change that geometry just a bit now that we can actually see what's happening. those are way too close. Maybe we can get a little bit of variety here. Whatever, we'll paint the rest of it. No time for noodling. Okay, now let's unwrap it again. Oh, Claudio, you don't know what you're doing, man. Compact material editor is the fastest. There are definitely times, not infrequently, when I'm setting up complex materials, that I will definitely use the slate editor. But that's kind of, it's only when there's a reason to. If it's a material that I can kind of completely understand in my head, I don't generally go into the slate material editor. Okay. That's probably going to be a bit obvious, but again, our goal here is to make something in an hour. It is not going to be perfect. We can count this as like my ongoing attempt to deal with my perfectionism. So, let's just keep getting things done. We're going to give that down just a little bit so we get a little bit more profile. We're going to do the same for this one. And that kind of... yeah, I'm okay with it. Whatever. Fix it in post. What little amount of time we're going to have in post. And then this guy is its own little case. And this one I think we need to do a little bit more to. Need that to kind of splay out just a wee bitsies. And we're gonna let displacement do everything else. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll find out about that in a second. We don't need these polygons, and I don't want to have to unwrap them. Come on. Is there not a polygon over there? Oh, there's not. Okay. Delete all of that. Unwrap. Doo-doo. Yeah, let's scale you. Something like that. Okay, we're getting there. And I can already tell that I want to move this camera just about there-ish, I believe. And then I think I want our character here a little bit more central. We're going to put a displacement map onto all of these guys. Oops. Convert to editable poly. F-storm displacement. And where is our material? There's our displacement map. 8K 32 bits, baby. Really treating myself on this one. Okay, and then we are going to set that to something ridiculous like 10 meters. 10 meters, 30 feet. And maybe 15 meters. Let's see what that gives us. And we're gonna have to smooth all of these before that happens. Smooth, auto. Let's say 80. Let's do the same for this. Auto smooth. And we're gonna need to put a sky in. My idea, I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure you guys saw this coming. We're doing this, in an hour, trying to talk whilst doing it. Wondering, there we go. Are we going foggy? Hell yes, we're going foggy. We're going very foggy. But let's see if we can get some things set up here. Environment, we're still... I'm half tempted to use... I'm half tempted actually to use sun and sky for this. But no, we're not. We're gonna go with trusty old Guthrie skies. I want something low. I want something bright. I want a dark sky with it. I think 743 is my go-to on things like this. 740. I can't even see it. I know it's 743. Go with your gut. 743. Oh, that's not the right version. Where's the new version? There's that version. New song strong. I gotta stick with the gut. Stick with the gut. Okay, and then I want it coming in from this direction. Oops, let's see here. There's our trees. Where's our mountains? Mountains are here. So I want it coming in at what's that, like 0.15. Something like 0.15. Okay, and we should probably save, because God knows what's about to happen. And we'll just save it to the desktop. Quick sketch. Why not? Can't waste time thinking of clever names. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, let's press render. Cross your fingers, folks. And let's see what we get. There's no environment on right now, but that's okay. We're going to tweak that in a second. Yeah, Claudio, Slate's definitely more intuitive and readable, but it's also slower to like move around and everything else, especially for quick tweaks. If I was setting up like a dirt material with procedural noise and a whole bunch of things getting multiplied and everything like that, then yeah, I would definitely, be looking at the Slate material editor to get that done. But being that I'm not, well, that is not at all what I was expecting to see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Being that I'm not doing that, like this is just a quicker way to move things around. Okay, so we forgot that we don't want this thing. We want this displaced like maybe 1 meter. Let's see what 1 meter gives us. And we've got to fix whatever's going on with this. Is it actually displacing? I can't actually tell. Let's see. F-strom displacement, sitting there with that. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba. We have some things going on. Okay, we'll foreground first, and then we'll go to other problems. Okay, we should see a tree come back here in a second. Okay, now let's figure out what's going on. Well, that is very, very not good. Let's go with a couple of things. Let's see really quickly. Pause this guy. We might be able to get away with that. We just need to go into this and quickly pull down an edge or two, specifically this one, I believe. And then we just need to pull some of these guys over. And then we're gonna have to fix our ray threshold. Oh dear Lord, where, oh where? Okay. Okay, now let's see what we get, and then we'll make some more changed. Okay, 35 minutes in. I was hoping 35 minutes coming up on of actual work time. And I was definitely hoping to be pressing render. We're not there yet. That's okay. Eyes on the prize. Let's fix things one at a time. Let's see. Do we need to go down? Do we need to go up? Do we need to maybe not go with such a ridiculous amount of displacement? Probably. What the fuck? I mean, that looks like a ray threshold issue. Maybe we go crazy here for a second and just fucking... Let's pump this up to like crazy high. let's change this a whole bunch. I'm not gonna go, because I can paint in a ridge line pretty quickly, right? The goal here is to work fast, and so I think when things don't work in 3D, I think the modus operandi has to be to keep moving along. We lost our rock up here when we were messing with ray threshold. Let's at least get that back. That we're gonna need. We're gonna need to look at Z depth, because more than anything else, that is going to help us. And so let's extend that way out. And when I'm in my head, I'm basically telling myself, if the Z depth looks good, I can paint anything else in, just about. But I do want to at least like establish a mood. Oops, that's definitely not it. Milan, it very well might. It certainly looks like it does. There's all kinds of things going on. And typically when I'm working, whether on, dear Lord, these, maybe I made these things a bit too far away. Whatever. We can paint it. We have that ridge line, which is all that we really need. Let's get some stuff going on here, though. These, like, those types of issues, I mean, obviously I wasn't particularly careful whilst working on this. And, you know, it shows. But, you know, you go in and try to figure out why something's not doing what you want to do. If you're trying to learn something, definitely go in and do whatever that thing is. But if you're in the situation that I'm currently in, which is, the goal for me is not to learn anything new specifically in this, it's to test the process. So, I'm just going to say I can fix this maybe in post, right? We're going to paint Foggy Mountains. That's like a single color with a little bit of changes. What we do need to get is we need to get some atmosphere in here, because I don't want to have to do all of that in post. And I'll deal with everything else later. Environment. Atmosphere on. Let's set it to something. Nah, let's go with like 300 seems to be like a good starting point usually. With scattering first, and then we'll deal with we need to go a bit higher. We need to go higher and lighter. Okay, we're not getting a ridge there yet, but we're kind of roughly getting this into shape. Let's see, let's put some vignetting in here. Let's turn off the contrast. At least have some rocks. We have a tree. I think in Bob Ross fashion, I was thinking of it as a solid tree, a singular tree, but it looks bad. It needs a friend. Maybe 2 or 3. So let's make that into an FStorm instance. I'm really cutting into painting time now. So what I think I need to be thinking this whole time is anything that I'm doing right now needs to be doing something that I conceivably can't do quicker in. I mean, that should have been my ethos the entire time. But doing something that I couldn't do quicker or really at all in post. Where did the frame buffer go? And we're just gonna move her up to about where her knee is, so it looks like she's actually standing on the rock. I'm not gonna work. Oops, I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. Looks like she's getting cut off like mid-calf, so something like that. And I think we want to rotate her just a little bit. I think that'll be a little bit more interesting looking. We have some broken up outlines there. That's gonna have to be good enough. I'm gonna separate that. I have another thought. Alessia. I typically use the HDRIs, usually almost exclusively from Peter Guthrie. for lighting scenes, especially exterior scenes. I do use artificial lights or like fill lights, and you know, I'm a big fan of cheating in general when it comes to 3D, but only when I need to, at least for exterior stuff. So it's really a case-by-case basis. For a scene like the one that I'm imagining, definitely going with just an HDRI. That looks a lot better. I feel like this is a little not live and well. But I kind of have two ideas at the moment. Let's just grab this little rock and see, maybe. Don't quote me on anything just yet. Where are you? Let's see what this gives us. Not perfect, but I think it's paintable. I would like there to be more fall off between those two mountains, given how far apart they are. Let's try one last thing. This is probably a painting thing now that we do have to be mindful that painting behind that's going to be a pain in the ass. At least quickly with the amount of time that we have. 46. Ooh, we have 20 minutes left. Okay. Last tweaks, where is my atmosphere? I'm just going to turn that down. I'd rather add it than try to remove it. So we'll go with 4,000 meters, 4 kilometers. And we're going to add a little bit of absorption to darken things down back there. Oops, forgot to lock the camera. I'm gonna add some absorption. Okay. And we are going to change. There's a map that I want. I definitely want to be able to isolate those trees so that I can paint behind them rather than guessing. We need something that's 50 meters. So we're just going to ignore everything else and just say 50. Okay. Good enough. I'll be able to isolate that. Let's go something like 30 on this, so it's a little bit darker. We get a little bit more color. That's perfect. And okay. Even on a rough sketch like this, I still want to doodle. Okay, so I or not doodle, noodle. Anything I can see that I need to do right now? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, we're gonna call that, every part of me is like, okay, we're just gonna do 3D for the next 20 minutes and then we'll paint tomorrow, but that's not what I said I was gonna do, and I'm gonna stick to what I said I was gonna do. So let's see, let's update that. Where is it? There you go, refresh. And prevent render restart. Man, we're gonna see. I don't know. I think what we're gonna find out, I think really quickly, in this is that my painting chops are not up to where I'd like them to be. Because the 3D could have been faster without the displacement on the rocks. The displacement on the rocks would have been very nice because we would have gotten a bunch of streaks. And here's what I'm going to try. I lied to you. I'm going to try one thing because if it worked, it would... Oops. No, I don't want a cylinder. If this works, it would actually save me. Why did that go down? Let's Let's go 3. We got things turbo smooth. I don't think that there are any flipped polygons, or at least there shouldn't be, but they could be entirely reversed. No, they're not flipped. Let's just see what that gives us. 3 meters. If we had some like rocks coming in here, that would do a lot of work for painting. But it's just giving us holes. And it doesn't seem to be displacing anything on that one. Thinks I do have one other trick. Burning time. I'm burning painting time, so I need this to pay off. Okay. Let's go to my trusty one, see if that helps me out. My trusty one that I use all the time, and I never remember exactly where I store it. Textures, maybe ground, something called cliff rock. No, it's usually by itself. Landscape. Roughness, normal, height. Okay, let's grab you. And let's plug you into there. Say, okay. And let's see if it was a map issue. If this doesn't work, we're done. I have no idea why it's doing that. I mean, it is smaller, but it's not even displacing this one. Okay. Failed experiment. We have not... Oh, wait a second. Oh, I just did that. Okay, whatever. Wasting time. I really got to get a better workflow for that. Okay, lock render. We're going to paint this. We are going to have like 15 minutes to try to make something cool with that. I thought we were going to get a little bit further along. But what can you do? Dario, right now, I love the painting part because that's kind of something I've been working on, trying to learn and trying to get better at. So I've definitely really been liking that. Generally speaking, kind of where this image is like right now in 3D, even though it's obviously like super duper rough and I could fix all of that. But like lighting and mood and atmosphere and like composition tends to be my favorite part in 3D. Definitely not the actual modeling part, and I think here we just kind of, didn't have enough time for it. But I'm excited for painting, and I would say most likely after, we're going to get to wherever we get in this hour, and, we'll see. Well, we got like 15 minutes to paint, and you can get a lot done in 15 minutes. You can't get things polished, but you can get things looking cool. But I probably will not return to 3D to work more on this, even though if I was working on this by myself, I definitely would continue. I'd figure out why my stupid displacement trick that I like so much isn't working, because this happens each now and again, and I've never spent the time trying to figure it out, because I'm only doing that kind of displacement when I'm like trying to be quick and sloppy. So I might come back and try to just figure out a better method so I stop running into that problem. But I will probably continue painting it because that's like kind of like the thing that I'm learning for fun right now, and I'm very much enjoying. Knitting, I use Guthrie's for everything. Interiors, it depends on the interior. If I have just like a very little, like if it's a bathroom with like a small window or something like that, a lot of times then I'll just you don't gain a ton. If it's just a little amount of light coming in from an HDRI and you have more control, specific control over a specific light. But if I'm doing like a bright living room, I will use an HDRI. and I pretty much only stick with Peter Guthrie's. Every time I try, you know, I'm not going to name any names of the other ones I've tried. I always have issues, and they never quite come out the way that I want, and they take more time. So the Guthrie ones is where I'm kind of sticking. It works for me, and I think they're great, and a lot of them are high enough quality. They're like 14,000 pixels wide, so you don't have to replace them even if it's like a clear sky. I don't know why I'm still waiting for this rendering to finish. This is as clean. This is cleaner than it needs to be. Clark, I wonder if maybe displacing the mesh with the displace modifier instead of using the shader. Clark, that would have been a great idea. I don't use that often. I wish I had thought of that, 20 seconds ago, or a minute ago. But let's, here's what we can do. Let's just say here, let's see, desktop, test sketch 1, JPEG, and then we're going to say CDUP, save, test sketch Z. Because I just cannot help myself. I feel like for like, oh god, I hate. Which one did I want? I don't know if this. I think I would have to grab the JPEG for this. Oh, and it would need to be a bitmap. I'm not going to continue wasting time on that. But that was a great suggestion, Clark. I wish I had read it earlier. I would have popped that in. It would have given us some shadow lines. Now we have to paint them. I need like dings. I need little bells on the chat. Okay, let's close this so that we don't crash things. Say okay. And let's see here. Scripts, load files into stack. Browse. Desktop. What did I just call this? Test sketch. Okay, we got to switch windows here. Okay, so we need to paint things. We need to paint them quickly. Let's do a couple of things right off the bat. This came out orange. I wanted it to come out more desaturated and yellow. So we're going to do a couple of things quickly. All right. And okay, that's a little bit green. Okay, our music's gone. So we need to get some kind of ridge line back in here. We can do that just like this. Just by down. And that should bring that back just a little bit so that we have something there. And now we need to get this looking good. Okay. This is one of those things where like I'm torn between how much of this should I paint, how much of this should I color correct. And remember at the beginning where I said like, you know, doing this kind of like stress test, like points out like things that aren't good. Immediately when I got in, aren't good, that you're still figuring out, that aren't comfortable yet. And one of the first things that as soon as I got into here, like I was very conflicted of like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Right, whereas if this was a standard image, I wouldn't be having that. And why? Oh, there we go. Are we painting now? Oh, nope. There we go. So let's see here. So let's kind of think here. The shape of this mountain, something like this. I know that that's way dark, but I'm kind of thinking this whole image is too bright. Well, we can always brighten it. Something like this. And let's just adjust that a little bit. Something like that. I'm not too sure. And then this mountain needs is some shadows. All right, so let's see here. Let's need some shadows and some shapes. All right, probably not that much contrast, but let's kind of get this starting to get roughed out, and then we'll start to figure things out. That should be darker, which it is, which is good. Push that back a little bit more. Bring some of this out. Don't really like where the colors are in this right now, but that's okay. We'll just kind of keep painting in this palette, I'm thinking. What are we doing on time? We've got 5 minutes, I think, officially. So we need to use our time wisely. This we're going to keep dark. Oop. Let's start kind of messing some of these up because I don't want them to be perfect. That carves just a little too perfectly around her for my liking. We're gonna get to the trees. Let's see if we can't. Now this kind of begs the question, if we're just going to rough up the whole thing, why did we spend all of that time in 3D? And that's not a bad question. I'm still figuring it out. I don't have an answer. But let's keep roughing things up. Her pose actually kind of came out, I don't think. Had it been working properly, I don't think I would have done that much differently. I probably just would have spent more time on that. Let's go take a look here on our values. Black. Let's see. Don't want it to necessarily get wider, but we do want it to get a little bit more like that, I believe. Something like that. And then, let's grab this edge. And I do want the idea of some like low-lying fog coming across. We need to get the values right. Okay. Then we can just grab this one. Or something like that one anyways. And we'll just lift everything else up just a little bit. Kind of came out brownish and greeny, which was very much not my intent. But gotta be honest, the amount of control that I have at the moment is, pretty minor. What do we got? We got 2 minutes left by my clock. Let's grab this guy. Oops, nope. There we go. This one. And I'm not quite sure. What we're gonna do, we're gonna paint white. Paint too much with white. That wasn't the brush I wanted. That, I think, was the brush I wanted. Something like that. Grab a colorized layer. First, let's bring it down to something like that, and then what kind of color do we want to put into this? Cool? No, cool doesn't feel right in this. Something like that. Not too much color. Let's turn that back a little bit. And we'll paint more of that in a second. Dun, 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 dun. Running out of time. Screen. B. Mask that. Back to that guy. B. Let's bring out that ridge in just a couple of those places. And tone it down just a little bit. We don't want it to be that obvious. Something like this. Let's paint in some of these. Maybe we'll go a little bit less saturated so it feels like a blue. And I think that's about our time. We didn't really get to paint the trees. It's something. I don't hate it. For an hour, not a bad little sketch for an hour. We'll just hit the we'll hit the magic button. Where's Dark Fantasy Pack? And that'll be it. I'll probably do a bit more post on it. Or a bit more painting on it before posting. No, I'm just confused. There's some like ridges that came out in that back line there that just a little bit of softening of the like I think would do good. It's something that actually suggests where the water is, because now I'm seeing. Oh, you can't see it right now, but it'll be back up in a second. You can't quite see where that bank is anymore. I've kind of completely lost that now that I'm looking at it. But 1 hour start to finish live. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Let's see if there's any questions. It's probably some geometry grub, X1 research, simple T, chat from the original. You should do the trick. I totally agree. Those things are always. I try to avoid those types of problems as often as possible. Obviously, we all try to avoid them. That was a stupid statement. But I do think that things like that, when you're just trying to work fast, it could have been like detaching that one mesh would have fixed it. But at least for me, for whatever reason, if I went in and I detached that one thing, and that didn't work, in my head I would have been like committed to trying to fix it. Which was definitely like what I was trying to avoid, was getting stuck in that. Well, if that doesn't work, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. And like, yeah, it could be 5 minutes, could be an hour. You never really know. But Clark, your suggestion was one I wish I had had in my mind initially, which is to say that I think going and just throwing a displace modifier would have given me the amount of the effect that I needed with basically no risk of the displacement not working properly. So thank you for that one, and hopefully that'll stick. But yeah, sorry, epic suspense music needed. Claudia, you're totally right, and we don't have any music playing because I don't know how to loop things on Epidemic Sound, and let's be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing up here. But hey, we got the idea across. We'll do a little bit of painting. I'll finish this painting and post it, and I'll make sure to post this one as well so that we have an accurate portrayal of exactly how far we got in exactly an hour and a minute. Guys, a couple of things. I think I put it in the link below. I did an episode like a month or two ago with Chris Nichols from Chaos Group on CG Garage Podcast. It was a pleasure talking to Chris. I always find his kind of perspective and thinking on things to be super insightful. I really enjoyed talking with him. I had a lot of fun planning for Total Chaos, even though that didn't work out this year. But the podcast is fun, so if you guys haven't listened to it, I would love for you guys to go listen to it. Link, I think down there. I think I put it there. Not entirely sure. And tomorrow we have Patrick back for 1 hour, not as boozy, but hopefully fun and fast-paced nerd rant on a. We're revisiting post-production for those of you that are still here, because Patrick had some questions about how I did use depth masks and why I love them so much, and I kind of struggled through some things last week, and so I spent more time trying to figure that out than actually explain things. So tomorrow, post-production with depth masks. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm super excited for it. You know I love post. You know I love depth masks. It's gonna be awesome. So definitely come by tomorrow for that. If you guys have an image you want me to paint over for Friday, send it along, mike@droki.com, or just find me via DM somewhere. Otherwise, guys, thank you as always for being here. I'm going to call it today an eye-opening experience, but a bit of a success. I think it could have gone a lot worse. It could have gone a little bit better. It's about as good as you can hope for. So this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And I very much hope to see you guys tomorrow. That's all I got. Be well. Tell someone you love them. Stay positive. Do something fun. Yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Talk to you all mañana. Boop. Boop.